I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bones Live, and today my guest is Braver Than Fiction with Mel on vocals, Adam on bass, Paul on drums, and Martin on guitar. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, Ryan.
There's and Jason on keyboards.
Well, keyboards too, right on. Well, it wasn't marked in the email you sent me, so. Oh. All right, so, okay, we got that mistake corrected, so we'll throw in keyboards there. So, guys, thanks for taking the time to come on the show. And as you know, I've been pretty much promoting Your Little Fantasy because it's such a good tune, and it's been doing so well. And from what I read in your bio, it kind of started out as something that wasn't initially going to be taken to the studio until like months later. Now, when you guys started putting up online, it said that the reaction to the song was just absolutely phenomenal. It must have been a nice surprise for you guys.
Oh, it was great. I mean, it was like originally meant to be just a demo that we were going to play around with just to see what we got. And yeah, the reaction was a little bit more than we thought it was going to be, and we just thought, oh well, this is fun. Let's do some more. So that's what we're into at the moment, which is why we're at rehearsals tonight, because we've got plenty of new material, but you can't hear any of it just yet.
No, and that's fine. It's best to wait and hear it come later, right? Because that's part of the surprise and the anticipation of what music's going to kind of come from your guys' jam sessions and stuff you've been working on. Next up, the title, well, the band's name, Braver Than Fiction. Now, does that have a certain relevance to anything, or is that was something that you guys just thought up and kind of came together to know what this sounds really good, or do you guys have an idea behind the madness?
It's actually a lyric from one of my songs. Which isn't going to be on the EP, and we haven't actually even played live. In fact, I don't think we all know. But yeah, it was a lyric from one of my songs, and we just thought we like that, and we just went with it with the title.
Right on. You know, and pretty much this is for all of you. I've read your bio up and down. And it says that at least as far as your dynamic goes, the predominant like lyric writing is pretty much on your shoulders, Mel. Now, do you like really like that and bounce the ideas off the other guys, or do you guys put in your input, or how does that work?
It is pretty much all on my shoulders, all over my kitchen table, on the backs of all of the cereal packets, spare envelopes. I've even been known to write on people. If the inspiration's there and I don't have a canvas, to hand, I'll improvise. But yeah, it is pretty much me. I'm the one with all the words. The boys will back me up on that. I think they hear them all the time.
Yeah, I think the answer is we don't get a word in anyway. We just concentrate on the music.
And a very good job they make of it too.
Well, the one thing I noticed too is, the point is very well taken. Mel being the shortest of all you guys is definitely the loudest, and you know what? That's usually always the case. The shorter they are, the louder they are, and that's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing.
I'm also actually the only one sitting in a Bond villain chair at the moment. Everybody else is standing. I've got this big black leather chair.
She's the boss.
Yeah.
I think we are just the henchmen.
Yeah.
Isn't that always the truth, though, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, they're not complaining. It's all good.
No. As men, we learn and we know better not to complain because it's not going to get us far. So.
Absolutely right. That's what I like to hear.
So, I was. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. No, am I going to be able to get a word in edgewise or? So I was reading too that obviously it happens from time to time that you guys have gone through like an abundance of drummers, almost kind of like the old Spinal Tap syndrome.
Oh yeah.
The Spinal Tap references in association with this band are phenomenal. There are so many. But yeah, we did go through quite a lot of drummers. I think we went through more drummers than there are actually people in the band right now. But legend has it that what actually happened was all of these drummers went away and thought about it and kind of homogenized into this one giant drummer.
Now, do you guys...
Drummer Paul.
Hi.
So, Paul, how have you enjoyed your new role in the band?
I'm scared because someone come and please help me. No, to be honest, I'm really enjoying it. We played a gig last week, and I really enjoyed myself. I mean, I've been in bands before. I've never felt as relaxed, and I've not known these guys so long, but I feel as though I've known them years, to be honest. And Mel is like the best. Do you know what I mean? She's such a fantastic lyricist, and I love her dearly. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I couldn't be happier, to be honest.
Well, it's always nice to come into a band and just feel like that, because obviously it helps the dynamic of the band that much more. The more relaxed and more comfortable you feel, it makes the connection between all of you, especially while you're performing, such a it's easily visible. We'll put it that way, and it's easy to hear too, because once the band kind of finally forms to what they want to be, the change is definitely noticeable. And sometimes, right, you have to go through quite a few different musicians, but that's part of the game, right? Now, did these people? Well, we don't need to go into too big of a story here, but did these people leave because they just didn't fit the band dynamic, or they just had better things in their minds that they had to do?
They just weren't right for the band, or we weren't right for them, or it wasn't the sound that they were looking for. They didn't have the sound. It's the usual stuff. You have to kiss a lot of frogs.
Now, with you guys in general, obviously you guys played in other bands. Now, when you started Braver Than Fiction, Mel, did you have an idea of what kind of direction musically you're going to go in, or did you just start jamming? Kind of just came together.
Not a clue. Did not have a clue. Stumbling around in the dark, like I said, bits of paper stuck everywhere, post-its on my shoes. No, I've always sort of gone with a very organic approach to my music. So that's one of the reasons that these guys are all absolutely fantastic, because they deal with that. They don't get upset with me when I don't know what key something is in, or they're laughing now. They won't be laughing later when I show them this new song. They'll be going, "Oh my god!" It's just one of those things that just happens with me. I don't sit there and think, right, I'm going to structure this and it's going to have so many bars and I want a bridge in there and I think I need to do it. It just happens. That sounds really airy-fairy and arty-farty actually, guys, doesn't it?
Yes,
but hey, that's the way I roll. So no, there's no real construct. There's no set palette of influences or anything like that. It's literally, I will wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and think, oh my god, I've got to write that down, and then everything comes from that.
Now, do you find when, let's say, a late night you wake up and you write something down? Now, do you find sometimes that when you come back to it later, it wasn't exactly what you thought it was, or you're trying hard to make sense of it?
I think anybody standing in this room with me will think that anything that I encounter or come across or invent or conceive might be difficult to understand. But once we've got past that, most of the time, I know where I'm going when I've written something like that down. Sometimes, yeah, you're right, I do come back to it and I think, what on earth have I written there? And I'll try and make sense of it. And most of the time, I do make sense of it. But yeah, there's a mental waste paper basket with all of the scribblings that weren't quite right. Yeah.
Go ahead. All right.
No, believe it or not, I finished.
Sorry, I'm just getting a little bit of feedback. That's all.
Sorry.
No problem. So I was just on that note, because I'm just worrying, because sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, whenever it is, and you'll scribble something down, but then you look at it and it really just does not make sense whatsoever. Not just for a lyric, but just saying like, what? It's like one of the times you can't even understand your own writing.
Oh, yeah. See, Adam knows what you're talking about.
Like waking up at 3:30 in the morning with something going through your head. You try and write it down in the dark, and you can't even see the paper that you're writing on. It's impossible to figure it out half the time the next day.
Well, it's always a curiosity. I like to see how the band kind of forms their dynamic as far as like writing and just the whole different processes that go into it, because each band's process is different, and it's always interesting to me to see how it kind of finally comes together and gels. And it's nice to hear. And Mel, obviously you're a big part of this bio, and when a couple of comments were made that, to the point where you're kind of flailing your arms around, but you're making sense anyways.
I don't know about making sense. I'll let one of the guys answer that. What is it like when I'm trying to explain to you how I want something to work? Excruciating is not a word that you can use in a sentence, by the way.
I like to be like, how do I describe it now? It's kind of like,
Without me hurting you. Just give it a go.
Yeah. Choose your words wisely, right?
thinking kind of like this kind of thing. I should try and play it, and I'd be like, right, what key is that in? I'm not sure what chord this is. I'm like, right, what notes are in it?
No idea.
Sometimes that happens.
I think the best bit is when we get descriptions in things like colours.
Oh yeah.
So I think this song is a colour red, and then we have to put that into music. There are a few blank looks around the place, but
There's a blank look on this side right now.
But honestly, I can't big these guys up enough. They really, really, really do have the most difficult person in the world to work with when it comes to anything like that. As I don't explain anything in the way that one would expect. And I love them all dearly. Each and every one of you, I just love you so much.
But you know what?
with the door slamming, that's us running out.
Yeah. She's not paying attention. Run. Well, you know what? That is such a good thing, because just the way you guys have been putting some of the descriptions, and they're kind of vague. The fact that you can feed off of that and kind of put the music onto that is something, and it says a lot for you guys as a band. It says that, you guys are connected, you guys are together, despite some of the weird, we'll call it arrangements or ways you come up with things, but still, the music is proven fact that it's coming out the way you want it, despite the fact that sometimes people on the outside like myself may stare at you like with a blank look in your face, but you guys know what she's talking about, or vice versa.
They do now.
Well, we're very good at pretending we know what she's talking about.
That's kind of similar.
We just nod a lot.
They do.
They
They go into huddles as well. into little 2 or 3 man huddles.
Yeah,
and it's like being at school, and I even go, she's coming down. And they told me after a gig that something that they'd done, I was just like, and it was just as well that I didn't know. Something to come up with. It was fine. I could hold to bits anyway, so.
In relation to the little huddles, I was going to make a quick reference here, because this the first thing that popped in my mind is there was a Simpsons episode years ago where they did take off on Lollapalooza, and they were what's the name? Peter Frampton had ordered an orchestra, and they couldn't figure out who it was because Peter Frampton wasn't around, and they're like, "Who did anybody order the orchestra?" Maybe while hi, Cypress Hill, we're looking your direction, and they get in the huddles like they're talking about, man, do we order the orchestra? Yeah, we think we did. So I'm sorry, just that's what popped in my mind. Just made it that much funnier for me.
That's good. I love The Simpsons. That's on my list. That's on my bucket list. I'd like to feature in an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh, that's an idea.
If anybody's listening,
Yeah.
hey, paint me yellow. Do it.
You would definitely be a beyond interesting character by far on that show. But I think the censors would have a little bit of a rough go with you though, there too, Mel.
You think?
From everything, you sound like a firecracker, and I excuse me, and I would not be one to get you upset at all because of fear the repercussions from it.
Okay, well, let's talk about something safe.
Fair enough. So the new music you're working on, obviously we can't hear yet, and that's fine. Now, is there any anticipated date or an idea of when the EP will be coming out?
It's not going to be soon, as in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be more like the next, I'd say, couple to 3 months. We're in negotiations with a couple of studios and a couple of producers that we want to work with, and it's a little bit of a slow process at the moment, but it's all going swimmingly well. So it's gonna be a month or two, I reckon. 3 months tops, I'd say.
Well, I'm definitely going to have you guys back on once that EP is released so we can give it some more press. Now,
we come to the house next time.
Well, I'm hoping there'll be a next time.
We'll crowdfund it. To Canada. Crowdfund.
So now the songs you've been working on, are they all we'll say brand new, or have some of them were written before and now you're just reworking them for the EP?
It's a mixture, actually. There's one that was written many moons ago that we reworked as a band. There are 2 brand new ones that weren't originally going to be on the EP that I think might actually find their way onto the EP now. And then there was one that was written specifically with the EP in mind, which is the King of Crows title track. They've been, all of them gigged. We've gigged all of them, haven't we?
I think we've gigged every
Yeah.
song we've got.
Yeah, we haven't gigged every song that we've got. There isn't a gig big enough.
Every song we know how to play.
There is no gig big enough to gig all of our songs at once. Are you mad?
Okay. Woodstock or something would be big enough, wouldn't it?
Anybody who's seen us play will have heard all of the songs that are going to be on the EP. But we're still deliberating over the final list.
I think that might be our toughest choice, especially as Mel keeps writing new ones.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I apologise now for being so prolific.
Yeah, Mel, what were you thinking?
I know what you mean.
Now, pretty much since you guys are trying to decide a few songs that you're going to put on the EP, do you have any like arrangement in mind, as like maybe as opposed just to the way it kind of fluctuates? You know, let's say kind of like a slow introduction to kind of a more upbeat and kind of maybe mellow out, that sort of thing, or is there like going to be like maybe a possible like theme to the idea?
Well, I think that's one of the things that you've got to take into account anyway. When you're structuring more than one piece of music, I mean, when we're playing a gig, we do look at the songs that we've got for the set list, and we definitely try and get that, get everybody up and on their feet and going, and then like mellow it out a little bit, and then take it maybe in another direction where it might be a bit more melancholy or thoughtful. But so it's good, I think, to take the mood up and down. And I mean this in a really nice way, play with people's emotions a little bit, but I mean that nicely. So they get an experience when they're listening to you. Otherwise, it's just bland, I think. And that's what we hope to do with the EP when we decide on the tracks that are going onto it. I mean, we'll discuss it as a band, and we'll make sure that we've got some kind of, I don't know, like a curve, I suppose, really. So here we go. Now you're going to get an example of that. I think it could be a purple curve with some dots on it. But seriously, that's what's in my head, is a purple curve with dots on it right now. Talking about that, that's what I can see. So, so it's something that just flows nicely along and takes people up and lets them gently back down again. And what more can you ask for?
No,
The curve.
Now, do you guys, when you guys have played live, what's your last few gigs, were there any songs that you played at those gigs that are going to be on the EP, or are they still secret?
Our gig's going to be on an EP. I didn't really quite catch what you said.
All I said was the new songs that are going to be coming on this EP. I said, have you played any of them live yet?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, played them all live.
And Go ahead.
With a reasonably good reception, I'd say. Actually, considering they were brand new songs, can't complain about that at all.
That was going to be my next question. So obviously good receptions. Now, do you find that after the show, people come up and tell you what their favorite song was and how much they enjoyed the show? And
they do actually. I didn't really know what to do. Actually, I was kind of like half elated and half sorry that one of the new songs that we debuted it a couple of weeks ago, and a lady in the audience came up to me afterwards and told me that it made her cry. And that wasn't because we were awful. Just for the record there, it wasn't because the ears were bleeding or anything. But it's a very emotional song, and it hit a nerve with her. And I was pretty surprised. I was surprised that she owned up to it. I was surprised. She actually came and found me and said that I really need to have a copy of that song. I was crying. So I was like, wow. Okay. No, you don't. I was like, yes, of course you can have a copy.
Which
not
song
right
was it
now.
then?
It was Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
One of the brand new ones.
One of the brand new brand and shiny ones.
Still all right with it, right?
Yeah.
but
So we played it the way it was meant to be. We played it with feeling, as they say, a bit of a cliche, but that's how it was. And yes, we do get feedback. We did once have a dancing biking. That was quite cool. He expressed his joy at our music by tossing his battle axe to one side, and I'm not talking about his wife. And just threw himself into the whole circus of the thing, and won the dance competition, which was pretty awesome for a Viking. He's been dead clearly for thousands of years, so yeah, good for him. But now, what about you guys? Does anybody come and say anything to you, or do I not let them through?
I've not spoken to anybody at any of the gigs that we've done or anything.
It's not because you don't
Really?
speak to anybody anytime.
Well, I've spoken to you guys at the gigs, obviously.
Oh, look, Brian, we need to do a little bit of role play. Let's just pretend we're at a gig now. Right, and you've never met me before in your life.
All right.
Oh, wow, you're the bass player. Oh, you are the bass player. I can tell because you're really tall and everything. I just think you're absolutely fantastic. God, I wish I played bass. I'd really like to play bass. I once wanted to play bass, but I wasn't ready. But you're just like totally awesome, man. Can I come up?
wow, Mel. Oh my god.
I've never done that before in my life, ever.
I wish more women would say that.
Yeah. You know what? I wish I could talk that fast and have everybody understand every single word I say, but that was impressive.
I hear good things about the boys at gigs. People, when they're talking to me, they will say, your keyboard player's really cool, your drummer's really cool, guitarist's really cool, your bass player. Everybody always says about the boys in the band individually as well, which I kind of like, actually. I like it that everybody realises that we are also individuals as well as, the conglomerate that is Rhythm and Fiction.
I think the feedback I've had has just all been good. Not about specific songs, just been great night, great, really enjoyed it.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Yeah, people
Keeps
should
us
enjoy
coming back
themselves.
more.
Yeah. I mean, a while ago when we did the second to last gig that we did, I had a couple of mates come along who haven't seen me do a gig for ages. One of them I used to be in a band with, and I've not seen him for about 2 years, and he really liked it. And I'm like, it's pretty cool. He's normally into his kind of dance music and his Queen, which is interesting because we're nothing like either of them. But he really liked it.
See, I think that's a good thing, and that's one of the reasons that I think we're enjoying it so much at the moment. I mean, not to say that we haven't had negative feedback. There've been little pockets, but I've stamped them out.
Well, it goes both ways, right? So being in the type of business you're in, you're gonna get some criticism, and it's just a matter of how you handle it, and how some of it may be helpful, and some of it just plain out crap, and if someone doesn't know what they're talking about, and it's literally blowing smoke out their own ass, so to speak.
I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. We don't, I mean, I'm probably just going to come out with such a string of cliches now. I could probably write a song with the next sentence, but you know, everybody's entitled to think what they want. Not everybody likes the same thing. The world will be a very boring place. La 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 la. Like, I won't actually put any like. Well, I'll get the guys to do some la 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 in the background. Yeah. See, wow, that's going in a whole new direction. that was cool, by the way. Beautiful voice. Yeah, so it doesn't. I'm talking personally now, not for the band, but personally, it doesn't upset me if somebody doesn't like what we do, because they'll just find somebody that they do like, so everybody's happy.
As long as we're not too vicious.
Well, there was that one time that we did have to call the ambulance, but we don't talk about that.
Both his legs are healed now.
Oh man.
I can see my Simpsons episode drifting far away now.
He's gone.
Let's get happen now. Oh no.
Hey, South Park might do one.
Be quiet.
No, but I just the feedback is a good thing, and it's good that you're able to kind of take out the grain of salt. But what you're saying earlier, just jumping back here just for one moment, getting back to you saying the woman coming up to you and telling you that she cried, the song like struck a nerve. You know, but that's what music's all about. It's like you're not necessarily toying with people's emotions, but you know, people can relate to the songs, and that's what a lot of people want. Is they want to be able to relate to the songs. They want to be able to kind of feel the music, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it works both ways with that as well. I mean, it's nice with any kind of creativity to be able to evoke or provoke some kind of reaction in anybody. It's not necessarily the reason that you go out to do it in the first place. You don't think, right, I'm going to write this because it's going to really like upset somebody, or it's going to like make you. Well, I personally don't think like that when I'm writing anyway. But it is nice to know that something has happened as a result. So, you know, if that's the bad thing, that it being a bad thing is not necessarily a bad thing if you follow what I'm saying. It's an emotion. It's triggered an emotion in somebody for some reason. So like Paul said, as long as they're not just vicious about it, then I think everybody's got a right not to like something as much as they've got a right to like it.
No, very true.
I'm waffling now, aren't I? I do that. I'll wander off in a minute and go and see if there's any kittens downstairs. It's just...
All right.
I am comfortable right here.
So we're actually going to take a small little break here, because since we've talked a lot about it, we're going to listen to the song of your guys that's been doing extremely well and played numerous times on the show. We're going to listen to Your Little Fantasy. Dig this, guys. This is Braver Than Fiction.
Every night I face it. Can't help your heart as I hear break it. I watch you wear you like the latest style. Brand new color for a while. And there's a swan crawling over me, 'cause I can only look how you don't see. She's playing a game, your little fantasy. Her honey mouth hides a sting. She poison in a pretty thing, dripping sugar like wine. But when you turn your back, her words turn so unkind. I know she doesn't care. She hides razors in her hair, laughs at you crawling over me. 'Cause I can only look while you don't see. She's playing a game, your little fantasy. Her honey mouth hides a sting. She poison in a pretty thing, dripping sugar like wine. But when you turn your back, her words turn so unkind. And there's a swan crawling over me. 'Cause I can only look while you don't see. She's playing a game, your little fantasy. Her honey mouth hides a sting. She poison in a pretty thing, dripping sugar like wine. But when you turn your back, her words turn so unkind.
All right, your little fantasy, braver than fiction. Now, Mel, I had one question about the song, just because it sticks out, and I'm not sure if this is an obvious answer or not. But dripping sugar like wine. Now, is that just a kind of like call it the sweet and sour reference?
Do you know, you're not the only person that has asked about this lyric. It's a reference to somebody being very insincere in their words and speaking to you like they are just the loveliest thing ever. But actually, you're just getting drunk on their words. It's about speaking to somebody in a defaced way.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. That definitely sounds a lot better than the bitter and the sweet. Now, next question. I want to get into I know you guys have like lots of influences, and at least the 2-3 that I picked out. I could tell partially. I could tell like a little bit of Smiths in this tune right here. But the other ones I thought were interesting were like bands like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and the Clash and that sort of thing. Now, if you guys had to pick maybe one each or one as a whole, whichever way is easier for you, who would it be?
Wow, off you go, guys.
Me, I'd probably say Beatles first.
What, I'm going to pick one of what I just mentioned.
Try and keep up.
Typical drummer. He's just catching up with the rest of us.
Yeah, well, I always struggle with.
Picking all one because it's not fair on the rest of the If I had to say one, I'd say Ride.
Ooh,
Ah.
I'm impressed with that.
My favourites change like the wind. They really do. And I know this is a terrible thing to do, but I'm going to say. Thank goodness that we're not video. Thank goodness that when we're actually gigging, I get to watch out front and I don't see what's going on behind me. They get a whole different brand of entertainment. My favourite band at the moment is Chickenfoot and how much they've influenced what I'm writing at the moment. Ooh, wouldn't like to guess really, but yeah, that's my big thing at the moment. But I'm more into my sort of classic rock than I think probably most of the other guys are. Martin, what about you?
Paul, me. Yeah.
A good solid Sheffield. Hey, Sheffield.
Lots of electronics and synth, despite the fact I play guitar.
Doesn't have like anything.
Yeah.
As long as it sounds good and it's just anything for me. There's that many fantastic bands that.
Possibly not Mary Tyler Moore.
Right on.
I do, Mel, yeah.
I'm at a few words, eh? You know what? And you know, it's interesting that you mentioned Paul. You kind of jumped in the last minute, kind of we'll call it behind the ball a little bit. An interview I did not too long ago, the same sort of thing happened, and except his was a little bit embarrassing. They were talking about listeners fans they had in Bogota. And then about a minute later, after we pretty much finished talking about it, the drummer comes in and goes, "Where the hell is Bogota?"
Oh, bless.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know where it is.
Oh, it's South America.
Is it really?
Yeah.
South America, Mel, did you not know that?
No. And considering, here's a little bit of trivia for you, boy.
Yeah. Well,
In South America.
Oh, God.
That's all you're getting from me.
no, that's fine. It was just funny because he kind of chimed in the last minute. That's all I was alluding to. So now, the other question I had for you guys is, since we're using a form of it right now, how have you found the social media has worked for you? I.e., like Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook, that sort of thing.
Awesome. It's brilliant. Love it. But to bang the old drum, nothing beats going out and playing live ever. I love the interaction that we can have with other bands. It's fantastic being able to. When you had Red Witch Johnny on the other day, and being able to like hear them talking when we we'd spent like quite a lot of time communicating with them, sort of over email and Twitter and that. But to actually be able to hear them, that's brilliant. To actually be able to access other bands' music like that, like it's literally at your fingertips. But it's great. But I much prefer going out there and gigging. I don't think it's a replacement. I know there's quite a lot of discussion about it at the moment, and whether or not bands should be treading the time-worn path of going out and handing out flyers and knocking on doors. And yes, they most definitely should. Nothing beats a live gig. But I love the social media stuff. It just enables you to like reach out to so many more people than you could before. It's fantastic. Not sponsored by Twitter, Facebook. None of those comments. But yeah, I love it. Can you tell? I really like it.
Yeah.
But I prefer being out gigging.
You know what? But I totally agree. Going to live shows is a lot more fun because you can get so much more out of it. I mean, hearing the tune on the radio on the internet is really cool, but seeing it live just gives you that much more of an appreciation for the band and the music.
Well, that's why we do it. I mean, we don't play music so that people. I mean, it's fine if they want to sit and listen to it in their bedrooms, but that's not what it's about, is it? It's about that connection with people that you can only get when you're eyeball to eyeball in a dirty, dark pub. That's the best way. And your ears are ringing and you can't hear what anybody says to you for 3 days afterwards because it was such a good gig. That's a gig.
Very, very well put. I haven't been to a gig like that in a while, unfortunately. I'm just I went to one, but a bit of a, we'll call it lighter, it's actually hard to narrow it down to a certain type of music, but a band I played a couple of times called the Gypsy Ghosts. So they're like kind of rock, just infused with so many different kinds of music. It's kind of hard to narrow it down to one, but a very cool concert nonetheless because it was their EP release, and these guys are local to right here in London, Ontario, so it made that much more interesting for me.
It's good when you get a gig like that and you come outside and you know that you've been to a gig. The last one I went to that was like that was when I went to see Wasp a little while ago, and it was the first time I could remember in years. I think, I really couldn't feel the sides of my face. Which is awesome. I love coming out of a gig and it being like that. Nobody comes out of our gigs feeling like that, by the way, just for the record, can I just say, no physical damage has ever been noted to anybody leaving one of our gigs.
Apart from the band.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I was in the taxi that night, dude. I don't know what happened.
We seem to damage quite a lot of our band members in one way or another. And mentally and possibly emotionally. Financially, definitely.
If you want a good gig, we'll come out and play for you.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome. maybe someday we'll be able to arrange something like that.
Yeah, Paul says he doesn't like flying though, so we might have to put him on ship
No,
now.
I didn't say that. I didn't what I said was, I just feel it's been cool.
That's okay. You've seen the 18,
all right.
Brian, right?
I was just about to say Mr. T.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we-
Yeah. I don't fly, Hannibal.
That was not good, Paul.
Yeah. So you want a 2x4, Paul, or you want some drugs in your milk?
I think I'll go with drugs in the middle.
That's a wise choice.
We'll just pull his bubble hat over his eyes. You think I'm kidding about the bubble hat?
Leave my hat alone.
He won't even knows in it, but he'll think he's on the tram.
It's taking a long time to get to halfway.
Yeah.
He's sulking now.
Oh, no, don't upset Paul.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright, I'll get revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Watch it. In the band, he's the only one who really hits me.
Yeah, people are moving away now. They're moving away.
When you were saying that about how, well, I mean, I don't know if this is going to make me sound a bit soft, but I went to see Queens of the Stone Age before Christmas, and we're in a certain arena, and they played the first song. I can't remember what it was, but I was that overcome by how fantastically awesome it was. I broke into. I started crying. I was just that overwhelmed by how. I don't know if that's daft or I'm not bothered if it is or isn't.
No, it's not. I cried
It
the first time I
I
saw Alice
felt-
Cooper.
I just broke down in tears, and my wife said, "What's the matter?" She says, "It's good, this isn't it."
You know what? I know I've had that a few times, and one of the times was went to see Nine Inch Nails for their album The Fragile. That's my favorite album of theirs by far, and that was such a phenomenal concert. Like, I mean, I was like, I was smiling ear to ear the entire time. Just couldn't believe I was there and what good a concert it was. So I can totally feel you on that, man.
I mean, if you can make someone like that break down, you're doing something right, and you're reaching out with what you're playing in your. Not touching people, literally. You understand what I'm getting at? Like,
Yeah, no, I understand.
Oh, bless you. You see why I love them, can't you?
Yeah.
He pulled his hat down over his face there.
Hat wearers, Brian. Me and Paul. Yeah, I'm talking about me and Paul.
Yeah.
You're inconsequential when it comes to the subject of hat.
Yeah.
Me and Paul are we're the hat people.
I'm
Aren't we?
only wearing it because I couldn't be bothered to do my hair.
Well, you know what?
That's why I wear mine. You're giving all our secrets away. I'm actually bald. I have honey hair. These things that people see sticking out the side of my beanie. That's
Just attached to the beanie.
yeah. I put my beanie off, all the hair comes off as well. It's great. Brilliant for the shower.
Oh, I must admit, and I'm trying to think of how to put this without well, it wouldn't be negative, but the picture you have up on Skype, Mel, and I can say this because I'm thousands of miles away, but you look pretty hot in that picture.
Oh.
So
Right, well,
yeah.
I wish to say to myself, so I'll pass that one over to the boys.
Wow. Okay. It's well, it's a good thing camera's on because my face is really red right now. So.
Oh yeah, well, mine's going that way. Is that the one of me eating a large ice cream covered?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah, actually, all right. Yeah, I'll give you that's pretty hot photo.
All right, guys. We got about 15 seconds left here. So, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
We've had a really good time. Thank you, Brian. We've had a ball.
And we'll have you back on when the EP is released. So, until then, guys, thank you so much.